Hello, my wonderful friends. Megas with you on a beautiful day in Asha. Oh, so excited. If you're brand new to the channel, we're Zoroastrians. We are the Magi. And we've been doing a series on Jesus. You might be thinking, why do I want to hear about Jesus on a Zoroastrian channel? Because Jesus is truth. My friends, and the Magi are Ashavans, truth knowers. It was the Magi who offered gifts and worshiped the Christ. My friends, I'm going to show you today the healing, saving light. Jesus is the Word. Jesus is the light. And my friends, if you can understand this light, you can change form and matter. And I want to share a story with you. As I was preparing this, you know, our ancient writings and today's quantum mechanics, I mean, we wrote about this thousands of years ago before they did. But I was doing a little preparation and I was getting my books, David Bohm and Schrodinger and Max Planck, and I wanted to get all my equations and all of my quotes written down. And I had to laugh because I realized, look at these books I'm reading now. And when I was in high school, I hated math. And I was one of those people that always said, what will I ever use this for? Right? And my God, have I used it? I've used it in my spirituality. I used it in my career. I was a boat captain, and for navigation, you have to know higher math. And, math has ended up changing my life. And what's funny, in high school, I had to have a special tutor because I was just failing math terribly because I had no motivation. So I had a tutor after school, and, I must have drove that poor woman crazy, but I guess not too much, because later on in my 20s, she sought me out. She came and found me because she heard I was had a healing ministry. I went on a rampage for a couple years. I just wanted to know how healing worked. And I prayed for many people, and many people did get healed. And so she heard of that, and she came to me and she said, she had an infection in her leg, and her body wasn't, accepting the antibiotics that they were giving her. And she said that the doctor said they're probably going to have to amputate it. And obviously she was very upset about that. And I got myself to those high frequencies, to that pure light, and prayed over her leg. And I saw her a short time later. She came and she said she was completely healed. The doctor said it was a miracle, and she thanked me for my prayer, my friends. And so it takes me back. And what's just funny was that was my math tutor, and so this book reminded me of that. But it takes me back to yesterday's. I'm just going to give me 30 seconds to recap on yesterday. Jesus said that when you can fashion eye in place of an eye, hand in place of a hand, foot in place of a foot, and likeness in place of likeness, then you will enter the kingdom. So my friends, you replace what appears in matter with what's real, what's true, what is the original word. My friends, so her leg, right, we had to replace it. We had to replace that leg that the doctor said had to be cut off. And we replaced it with the true idea, the original word. The only thing that could come from a perfect creator's perfect mind is a perfect leg that doesn't need to be cut off. And we envision it. And my friends, we talked about this yesterday. We work and wave. We get ourselves to that meditative mental state where we return to wave. We create in that wave place, in that field that makes particle, that makes matter. And we change the form and matter with the spirit, the energy, the light that we put into it. And you're going to see how this comes together. You're going to see how quantum physics and our spiritual teaching of the Magi come together to work in magic and miracles. You're going to know what's behind it all. My friends, it's that singularity. So yesterday, for the last couple of days, we've been grabbing a pen and paper. I want you to write down certain things so you remember it. People always wonder, what's behind the Big Bang? Right? They think they got it broken down where there was a singularity, right? And then it expands. And then sometime it will, come back to its singularity. And so I want you to write down singularity, the one, the root, the source, Zoroaster, pure light, Jesus, word. My friends, if you can understand that, and that's all one thing, by the way, you'll see this by the time we're done. Okay, I want to do some quotes. Max Planck, he's one of the founders of quantum mechanics. He said, there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. Get this. Mind is the matrix of all matter. Does this sound like our holy text? Mind is the matrix of all matter. I regard consciousness as fundamental. Everything we regard as existing comes from consciousness, comes from the mind. It is mind. We have to ask ourselves, to be able to work in this field, this plastic medium, to be healers, to be like Jesus, we have to ask ourselves, what is matter? Write that down. What is matter? Quantum physics tells us. The message of the Magi tell us that matter is mind. Write this down. Matter is light. Okay, let's go on. I want to talk about David Bohm, one of my favorites. He says light can carry information about the entire universe. Light, by interactions of different rays, produce particles and all the diverse structures of matter. Matter is condensed of frozen light, slowed light. When we come to light, we are coming to the fundamental activity in which existence has its ground. What is matter? It is transformed mind. It is transformed light. My God, my God. Oh, okay. I want you to do this real quick. Go grab your book, Asha. Go to Asha 6. Asha 6 says, thoughts make your world. Remember what Max Planck was saying, that all matter is mind. Right? Our thoughts, their electromagnetic field that work on energy. And I loved how David Bohm talked about light. He compared it to like water, right? You take flowing water, and when you freeze it to ice, right, it's solid. And he said light does the same thing. When you slow it so much and freeze it, that's matter, my friends. And so when you want to change matter, you got to melt it. Right? You got to go back to the wave, to the water, and then mold it, and then freeze it. Thoughts make your world. Consciousness is behind all matter. Mind behind all matter. This is Asha, thousands of years old. Thoughts make your world. Beliefs make your thoughts. Reason makes your beliefs. Get this. Mind reasons. Mind is the reason. Know this, illusion goes away. Whoo! And it's just like my tutor with her leg, right? When it seemed, the doctor said, this is solid, this is matter, this is what's happening, but we took it back to wave. Matter of fact, flip over to Asha 8 real quick. I need you to see this also. This goes perfect. Asha 8 says, I choose not to be double-minded. I choose to thank God and not the lie. So we're choosing at this point not to accept the lie, not to think, okay, her leg just has to be amputated. That's how it is, right? No, we know now that matter, it's fluid. It can be changed. It's just frozen light, right? There's wave and there's particle. We go back to the wave and we reconstruct it. We see it as it truly is, what's real. Just like Jesus said, you got to replace the body with the real body, the new body, the true body. And then we freeze that into being where it is. Is this making sense? My friends, I know it's a lot. Okay, look at this. Jesus' disciples ask, will matter then be destroyed or not? The Savior said, all natures, all formations, all creatures exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots. From the nature of matter is resolved into the roots of its nature alone. So remember at the beginning, I had you write singularity, the one, roots, source, pure light, right? We all go back to the real. The only thing that is real, my friends, is God good, the highest principle of good. It's that pure light. It's bliss. It's perfect perfection that we call Asha. And so before I continue on this, I need to help clear this up, because what I'm going to say is definitely controversial, because it shook me when I first saw this. But I went into a state of meditation. And remember, we're talking about meditation. You want the ultimate goal is samadhi. You know, there's a place where you work, like we're talking in that wave, to make particle. We work in spirit and energy to make form and matter. But if you go deep enough, you go to what they call samadhi, where the two become one. Where you and God are one. You and that light, you and that source are one. And I experienced that, my friends, where I was it. And it was so perfect. Pure bliss, pure light, pure love, just pure good. And you have an understanding, a knowledge, a wisdom. And I saw something that when I came out of samadhi, it kind of threw me, because I saw here we were above gods and devils, even right and wrong, good and evil. When you're up here, it's just perfect, right? You don't have gods and devils and right and wrong and good and bad. And it's the first time where I saw it, where I could truly understand it. And my friends, if we can learn to get to that place, to know only good, to know only the light, the source, that unmixed, that Zoroaster pure light, and hold that, right? That was the word of Jesus, that you and that God good, that source, are one, and you be it. To know it, when this was written, is to be it. You be that light. And that's where the magic and the miracles happen. And so I say all that because as I read this next verse, I know you're going to be all, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right, but I think you'll understand it now. They say, what is the sin of the world? And the Savior said, there is no sin, but it is you who make sin when you do the things that are like the nature of adultery, which is called sin. And that is why the good came into your midst, to the essence of every nature, in order to restore it to its root, right? That's why Jesus came, the Word incarnate, is to remind you of that frequency, that highest truth, that light, that source, that root, that mind, that pure mind that will make the real world a good world, a God world. That's why Jesus came. The world had lost its way. They lost the idea of who God was. Right? We've talked about this many times, but just for the new people, the world had an idea of a God that got angry, jealous, hate, war, killed men, women, and children, send sickness and disease, send his children to hell. But if you go back to the original, the loving Father, that pure light, that pure source, pure bliss, the only thing that could come from his perfect mind was perfection, was good, was that pure light, undefiled, undiluted, pure light, my friends. And you know what? It makes me think about, listen to what it says here. There is no sin, but it is you who make sin when you do the things that are like the nature of adultery. This is what I want you to see. So now I understand. Some of you, just like I have an intellect, and I think, well, if someone broke into your house, tied you up, kicked your puppy dog, stole all your stuff, you'd be screaming, sin, right? I get that. But what Jesus is saying is that's not real. That's not substance. That's not what was, is, and forever shall be. My friends, because we all go back to the source, to that pure light, to that God mind. What's behind all matter, right? What does quantum mechanics and theory show us? What does our ancient teachings show us? It all goes back to the God mind, to that pure light. And so that's why sin isn't real. That's why the devil isn't real. Those demons aren't real, right? Because they're not that highest pure. So and this is what caught my eye. So it talks about adultery. And you remember in our holy text in the Avesta, it talks about that man was so holy that the evil spirit dare not attack him. So what happened? They called it the demon whore. And this demon whore was false religion. It's a false thought, an idol, a false ideology, right? And she said, I will have intercourse, right? I'll become, it's like sex at the time. To know each other was to be intimate with, to become one with. And so it was an adultery. Instead of just you being one with that pure source, like you are, that divine spark in you, right? She came with this false ideology that God got angry, jealous, hate, war, kill men, women, and children, and just wrong beliefs. And as you take that thought, what do we learn? In Asha 6, thoughts make your world. She implanted that wrong thought. You brought it into you. It became you, right? You became that mixed energy. Now you're in resonance. Now the evil spirit can attack you because you're in resonance for it. You're now vibrating anger, so that spirit of anger can come. You're vibrating hate and war and violence, and those false gods and those false ideas. And now that evil spirit can attack you. And here's the ridiculous thing. You are calling those low frequencies God. And man cannot rise above his image of God. That's why Jesus came, to restore God's image back to that loving Father. Remember, James and John said, let's call down fire from heaven like Elias did on the town that rejected their message. He said, you don't know what spirit you're of, right? Remember the Pharisees, hey, we got to stone this woman like Moses said. Jesus said, we ain't doing that. That ain't good. Right? He was bringing back what good looks like, what God looks like, so man could rise back to the one, to the source, where the two become one again, and we make better matter with a spirit that we hold, the true spirit. My friends, and that's the message of Jesus. That's the message of the Magi. That is truth. That is light, and I hope you saw it today. If you did, do me a favor, share this message with someone, and know I love you.